For most Indians, Holi is the festival of colors, of celebration, and joy. And for many, this joy and celebratory spirit comes from intoxication. Yes, we're talking about bhang. Bhang and Holi go hand in hand. Just look at all the Holi songs that mention bhang. Every family has a funny bhang story to tell. Many even consider it as a prasad or blessing of Lord Shiva. But have you wondered why is marijuana or weed illegal when bhang is perfectly acceptable? Now, before we dive deeper into this topic, a disclaimer. We do not support or promote consumption of weed, bhang, or any other narcotics. But we were just curious about what would happen if India legalized marijuana or weed. Welcome back to Revolution ReadOn, a daily podcast where we break down one story from the world of business and finance. Click on the subscribe button to never miss an update from us. Here's your story for today. Now, many of you may be wondering what's the difference between bhang and weed? After a lot of research, which may raise our parents' eyebrows, we found out that bhang is made from the leaves of the cannabis plant, while weed is made from its buds or flowers. Meanwhile, hash, which is a whole different narcotic altogether, is made from the sap of the same plant. One trippy plant, right? So again, why is bhang legal but weed isn't? Well, there was a time when weed was also perfectly legal in India. In fact, India even fought against making the drug illegal in the UN. So, what changed our mind? The US. Yes, in 1985, the US pressured India to sign the UN bill that would make weed illegal. But the bill only mentions that the buds and sap of the cannabis plant would be illegal. So, bhang is still legal, and so is hemp. What's this new substance now? Well, hemp is kind of like cannabis only, but much, much less potent. It is usually used in products for pain relieving and nutritional qualities. And if that seems like a load of mumbo jumbo to you, think again. The government of India has now allowed hemp seeds, hemp seed oil, and hemp seed flour to be used in food products. Yes, that's how nutritious they are. But sadly, hemp production, due to its connection with cannabis, is also restricted in India. Currently, only Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh are allowed to grow hemp legally. But let's forget all of these rules and regulations for a moment. Let's assume we live in an India where hemp and weed are legal to grow and use. We will keep hash out of this discussion. Once again, we are looking at this purely out of financial curiosity. So we are not taking any social, political, religious, or health issues into consideration. The hemp industry is growing at a CAGR of 20.4% and is projected to be worth 18.6 billion US dollars by 2027 globally. Plus, with people now using hemp and cannabidiol, a substance extracted from hemp plants, in more skincare, medicine, nutraceuticals, and whatnot, this space is only going to get bigger. The hemp textile market alone would be worth 240 million rupees. And what's more, growing hemp could help increase farmers' income. A farmer can cultivate an acre of hemp with just an investment of 60,000 rupees. And the produce would sell for around 2 to 2.5 lakh rupees. In comparison, cultivating zero point 0.4 hectares of potatoes requires an investment of 1.5 lakh rupees. Let's look at the weed industry. According to government estimates, around 2.8% of the population already smokes weed despite it being illegal. And that's a very conservative estimate. If weed was legalized, the government would make 725 crore rupees in taxes from Delhi alone. Insane, right? So why aren't we jumping on this massive revenue stream? Well, the answer is bad PR. Weed has a bad image, which is surprising since it's a plant that was revered for its medicinal properties in old Ayurvedic texts of India. But let's assume weed is bad. It can cause some lung damage and in very severe cases, death. However, studies have shown that it is not as harmful as tobacco smoking and drinking alcohol, things that are legal in India and almost every country in the world. Furthermore, legalizing it could also ensure that people who are underage aren't exposed to these drugs. Several politicians have supported legalization of weed, but so far the government has resisted this. Probably because weed is ultimately a drug. In fact, some studies show that 9% of people who try it get addicted to it. By legalizing it, we would be exposing a large section of the society to this drug, which could be harmful. But with more and more countries legalizing weed, will the government change its mind? And do you think it should? And that's your story for today. Make sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. We'll be back tomorrow.